Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Ringside Rain and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. And now, here is your host, Mark the Mark Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, as you heard from Ringside Rain, Mark the Mark Martinez, and this is not Sir Michael Jenks. This is one of the longtime hooligans, one of my best friends in Kentucky, one of Can Crusher's favorites, Ryan the Riot Mosley from The Final Count. Ryan, how the hell you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great, Mark. How have you been?
I have the biggest smile on my face right now because it's been a minute. All right, we're going to lie. Fourth wall down. We talk all the time, but it's been a minute since you've been on the podcast. Shame on me.
Or shame on me, either way.
Yeah, it's both of our faults. It's both of our faults.
Right.
So we'll get to wrestling. We got to do our guys. It's gonna be the same podcast as me and Jenks. So settle down. So how the hell you been? What's going on? Tell everybody what you're doing. The Final Count still kicking ass and taking names, right?
Yes. We actually launched. Did a. I guess you could call it a relaunch. Back in I want to say February, March, something like that. It's around WrestleMania time. And we came back with one episode, and then we came back a couple months later with a few more. And so we're on the road right now. So we're not letting them off as typically as we were, but we're still letting them out. So
that's all that matters. You're touching out and you're getting wrestlers on the show, guys. Shout out! It's called The Final Count. It's on every freaking platform out there as well. Listen, he's got a lot of cool interviews. It's funny, almost like we reached out to the same people in like back-to-back weeks. It's who was it? Was it Jada? I think
it was Jada. Yes.
Yeah.
It was funny. I looked on after a couple weeks after I had interviewed her and posted the interview, I believe, and then I saw where you had to interview her. I was like, oh wow.
Side note, guys. Ryan and I kind of work together, talk to people together, and everything like that. We don't like piggybacking each other because it's not that it's not cool. It's just give Ryan his time with person. And it was like maybe like 2 weeks since I talked to you. And I'm like, oh, I got Jada Stone, and you're like, idiot. I just had her. I'm like, it is what it is. We usually try not to piggyback, but it happens, right?
It does.
So, what else is new? I'm going to ruin it for you right now. I see you are making a huge improvement on health. From what you told me, you are just running amok with this new, like, lease on life right now, right?
Yes. Like, I'm not going to be ashamed to say it. I'm down 10 pounds from when I started. If you do follow me on Facebook, it's not on the Final Count Facebook page, but who knows, maybe I'll post it on there at some point, and just share it on there. But if you do follow me, you know what my starting weight was. And so I'm just taking back my life and taking back my health overall. So,
and that's
great.
It's all it is doing these interviews, Ryan, and I'm sure you get it as well. Wrestlers, even at the age, I'm older than most of them anymore that I've talked to. but it's all about that 1% better than yesterday. And that really sets in for me, and I see it with you now. It's always wake up, and I know it's rough to put a smile on your face every once in a while, but you wake up, you put a smile on your face, and you feed the dog sooner, you do the dishes sooner, you do something. I mean, it's irrelevant in life, but it just makes you that much better, you know?
Yes, for sure. Like, you know, me and you've talked
All the time, yeah.
Often. We talk often, and like, so, you know, I have those days. You know, we all have days, but I just like I could not be in a better place right now.
I can hear it in you. Sorry, I was taking a drink. I can hear it, and I read it when you sent me that text about being down that much, and I'm like, you felt, you know how you can feel stuff even through texts. At least if you're close with friends and everything. I mean, you're not going to feel anything from Target or any place like that. But, you know, when you have a friend, I know when you hit send on that, I'm like, he is bouncing all over his house right now. He is full of joy. He is, you know, he's just been touched again.
Yes, I tell you what, I stepped on the scale for the first time in the longest amount of time that I've been able to step on the scale and actually see results. And I saw results for the first time, just being able to see and the scale not say error. So that was a big, huge, like, feel-good moment for me.
Yeah. Congratulations, brother. I love you, and you know that. I tell you off air. Yeah. I'll tell you on air. I love you.
Yes, love you too, brother.
So, other than the health thing, what else has been going on? What are you tackling? What more can we see coming up with the final count? And because we're going to get to wrestling, and it's going to be a battle of the Nit Wits, I think, today. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But, yeah, just encapsulate everything that's been going on elsewise.
Well, for those that may not know, so like you said, we'll get into the wrestling a little bit. But other than just the new health journey that I'm on, I've just been really big on, and so maybe people might not know, your listeners might not know, my listeners probably don't even know that I am now, ever since March of 2020, I took up playing the keyboard, and so I lead worship at my church and sing, and so yes, that's pretty much just doing the family thing too, and just being real involved in my church for real.
That's another awesome thing to have, patting yourself on the back, because it makes you feel good. Yes. I've been physically with you kind of like twice. I stayed at your house one night. We've had these talks about what it means to both of us to have, church and God and whatever, me being Catholic, and I forget which one you are, and I don't mean to mean, but I mean, it's all like, it doesn't matter. As long as you believe in something, you just have that aura. And you give me that aura when we're chatting. Like, I was kind of like, I'm doing a podcast tonight, and then you sent me a text. You're like, are you excited? I'm like, Ryan is what I need tonight. Ryan is my shot of, I don't know what drug gives you a high or anything like that, but
or something.
Yeah, Ryan's my drug tonight to get me through this crazy weekend. So yeah,
there you go.
So, all right, let's trickle to wrestling as we updated you again, guys. I'm going to make Ryan give you all his socials at the end, but it's called The Final Count. If you know The Final Count, yeah, you should go listen to it. Before we dive in, and I'll let you pick which one you want to first, AEW or WWE in segment number 2. Hot topics, though, of what kind of is going on. I think we have to start with the passing of Kevin Nash's son. I mean, tragic. And I didn't, until my buddy sent it to me, I didn't put 2 and 2 together that he passed on Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall's birthday. Like, we know we lost Scott recently, but that's a tough shot for Kevin. I know losing a son, but it's also the first year that your best friend, Scott Hall, has been passed on his birthday. Man, thoughts and prayers to the Nash family. It tore my heart apart.
For sure, it's such a sad situation, and yes, our hearts and our thoughts and our prayers go out to Nash and his family and his friends and everything. It's just so sad what happened, and because it was from what I read, it was unexpected, and so like so bizarre. Like, wow, you just can't take things for granted. It just shows you can't take things for granted. You can't take people for granted. You can't take life for granted, for sure.
Agreed, 100%. It's got to be really. I was gonna say Viva Las Vegas is not the one I was looking for, but it's like live for the moment anymore, because you don't know. That might be my last breath. It's just roll with it, enjoy your life, and as long as you believe and have somebody that you believe up there, you're going to be fine. This
For sure.
other nonsensical stuff is just that.
Exactly.
So, again, from myself and Ryan, thoughts and prayers go out to the Nash family. I know you have one too, maybe a couple, because I only threw two at you, and I said bring whatever you want because you are a podcaster as well. You know how this works.
Yes.
The other one I want to bring up is CM Punk rumors, and this one's going to stir the pot, I think, between both me and you, and I'm okay with it. This is what I want on this show. This one is just us. We'll give you the wrestling hate today, folks. We'll give you the wrestling hate today, but when we hang up, we'll both tell each other we love each other as well.
Exactly.
CM Punk. Let's start there, because I want to know your whole aspect of what happened with the scrum. Where are you with Punk? He may be released. He might not be released. He has an office job. And now rumors. That's all it is right now. All of this, rumors. He may want to go back to WWE today. Or he might get a buyout and then go to the WWE. Where are we, Ryan? What are you telling your peeps?
So I'm gonna say, like, first of all, I don't see him ever returning back to WWE. That, I don't know, just something about it, just something about him. Just, and I'm a CM Punk fan, and so I'm a CM Punk mark, and so I don't see him going back to WWE. As far as the AEW situation, I think he could have handled the situation differently. Obviously, the Young Bucks and all the other VPs in the company, they could have handled the situation a whole lot differently, and should have not been fighting and physically at all. So the situation, it's just like, it's a crazy situation right there.
It really is. It really is. And I posted, guys, because of course we're recording Friday and you're listening Saturday, I posted this yesterday about the whole CM Punk on Facebook, and we got a couple back and forth, and somebody said Punk will never go back to the WWE. I said, okay, stirring the pot, because I'm Mark, and Ryan knows how I like stirring the pot.
Yes.
We never thought Bret Hart was going back to the WWE either. Money.
That's a valid point.
Money. We never thought Hulk Hogan, after the roids thing, and after his most recent stuff, and after the trials, and would ever step foot in the WWE again. Wrestling does have a short-term memory.
It really does. And you know what? Now that you bring that up, I think about Ultimate Warrior. Look at all the trash talking he did on WWE, and then of course it became too late eventually. Of course, nobody saw what happened in that circumstances coming, but he went back even after all that was said and done with him. And so that's a good point, valid point right there.
But I agree with you. I think there's pure hatred. I'm a huge CM Punk fan. Autographed picture in the studio, tattoo on my arm, all of that. I've waved the CM Punk flag from day one, and when he was straight edge to the GOAT and I don't think him and Tripp see eye to eye. I don't care. Like, even when we was on that Fox show, what was that Fox show with Renee and Booker, and I forget what it was called.
I believe Backstage Pass.
Yes, that. When he was on that, it felt awkward that he was on that with them. Maybe him and, like, Paige, Soraya now, maybe were okay. Or maybe Renee was okay with them. And, you know, they weren't involved. They weren't in the WWE at that time or fully engulfed into it.
Right.
When Booker was on with him, it felt like the mega powers colliding again all over. It just, there was something off with that. Now, I loved it that he was on TV, but I'm like, this doesn't feel right. When he came to AEW, that felt right. But I think he's done, unless he goes to the Indies.
Yeah, and I don't see him going back to the Indies. Now, see, another thing about that Backstage Pass show, that was all an ESPN thing. Though it was WWE, it was still
right.
It was kind of not WWE as well.
Yeah, his contract wasn't through WWE. Yeah, right. I mean, look at all that. So, yeah, so of course I just put that up there to stir the pot, unless it is, you know, a $4 million bajillion contract that anybody would not pass up. There's too much baggage there. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think, with almost dying from staph infection, I wouldn't go back to a job that almost killed me.
Oh, no. Definitely not. No. Mm-mm.
So,
but if the money is right.
If the money's right, I don't know. No, I don't. I would probably get killed from the wife then. You almost died there and you're going to go back? Yeah, you can retire now. Yeah, right. You're going to die tomorrow. Yeah, you know. What'd you bring to the table? I know you got a couple.
So one that I do have, first and foremost, I want to mention about Ace Steel. I read where he was released from the company. So he was also involved in that altercation with Punk as well. So like that's like really, really crazy. Like Ace Steel, he's and correct me if I'm wrong. Now he was in OVW for a while. Many people might not know that. I'm not sure if
I didn't.
Even aware of that?
No, I had no clue until you just brought it up.
He had been in OVW for a while back in like 2007. And so that was when they were under the WWE developmental deal that they had. But yeah, like it's really crazy. Like with Ace Steel, I don't think he was in WWE. At least I don't believe. Someone can correct me on that. But yeah, it's just a really, really crazy deal right there with Ace Steel too.
Yeah, I think to bounce off of both of those, I think the writing was on the wall that somebody was going to go down out of all of this. And maybe things can be patched up with Kenny and CM and the Bucks and everybody else, because they're your money makers. Maybe enough time has passed. I don't know yet. I hope so, because I love them all. But somebody's got to take a fall. And kind of Ace Steel is CM Punk's right-hand man in all of this.
For sure.
So he can get a job somewhere, without a doubt. With what he has, his resume is pretty awesome. And he can go to Impact. He can go to any of these. I want to say maybe like a super indie type of show to help out and get them higher up. Maybe he can go to NWA and push there. And if Punk does go to WWE, maybe that's his in there to work a little bit. I mean, he's got a resume. He's good. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it was. He had to be the fall guy. You clearly weren't all out firing your VPs.
Exactly.
Yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet. Maybe. We'll see.
Right. Yes. That's the key word.
All right, so out of, let's just say the VP is the Young Bucks and Omega. Which one do you let go, Ryan? Do you let both Young Bucks go, or do you let Omega go? If it has to come down to it.
If it has to come down to it, I let Omega go.
I do too.
Yeah, I feel like he might have been more the
Shit stirrer. I'll say it.
Yeah, for lack of better words, yes, or word that I can't come up with.
Yeah, I would think, and he's in better shape than me. I'm not knocking him, but he's a little bit older on the spectrum there. He just came back from some major injuries. The Bucks are not super young, but they're young, and they're, they still can do some stuff. And, there's still some storylines built in that are lingering around with the Bucks. So I guess we'll have to see, and who knows? It's wrestling. Everything could be swept under the rug, and then we could get mega returns here coming in at full gear.
That is for sure. Definitely. You mentioned Impact. I want to throw them some love a little bit. So I was
except Daniel Spencer. No love for that guy.
Right. We can't throw Daniel Spencer some love. No love for you, Daniel Spencer. So they are taping. They're doing some tapings tonight and tomorrow night, and reportedly, PJ Black, former WWE superstar Justin Gabriel, is starting with Impact this weekend.
I saw that. I actually, it's called Sin City or something like that.
Yes.
I just actually looked at that before we started recording. I'm like, man, this looks like a great card. I can't wait until I get to watch it via however I get to watch it without giving spoilers. Yeah, it looks like a great card. I've always been a Justin Gabriel, PJ Walker fan. He's always been an uber high flyer before we got to the over-the-top high flyers, and I always throw Ricochet under the bus. He's just way too much for me, or maybe even the Lucha Bros a little bit too much. Gabriel was that one. I'm like, oh my God, this guy can fly, but he doesn't go crazy. So
he doesn't overdo it.
Yeah. I believed his, unlike the other two aforementioned people that I named.
Exactly. And see, I hope that they, and I know Impact will utilize him the correct way. They should. Because Impact really does put on great wrestling shows and great wrestling. It's more wrestling driven, not so much story driven, although you have to have both. But I believe that PJ Black, I believe he'll be a good fit, and I hope that they do keep him for a good amount of time, that it's just not a one-off thing or something like that.
Yeah, he fits in there great with Trey, and I actually love the Alan Angel signing too. I really did a couple months ago when they got him.
Yes.
So I just wish more people got to watch Impact, and it would be more of a topic on all of wrestling, not just, sporadically here or there. It's just, there's got to be, Ryan, there's got to be another channel that would say, yeah, I mean, what's TNT do? No, well, not TNT, the Country Channel, or, something like that. Why don't they grab an Impact? Access is in, 25% of the houses in America? That's rough.
Right. Yeah.
You guys can go out and buy the Impact Plus. I believe it's $7.99 a month to
$7.99. Yes, or you can do the Impact Insiders, which is $4.99, and so it's kind of the same deal, but with Impact Plus you get more. So
yeah, I mean, there's enough streaming places that you can watch it anyway. But yeah.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to dive into a week of pro wrestling?
Let's do it.
All right. First, we got to do a couple things. We have to pay the bills. Well, let me do these hooligan things that we do here. Guys, we're available. And check out the Final Count as well. We're on Stitcher. We're on iTunes. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Boxcast. Whatever platform you're listening right now, essentially we're on all the other ones as well as the Final Count. Make sure you check us both out. Give us that like, give us that follow, give ratings. It helps us out in the back end. It really does, so that's cool. Ryan, you're gonna chime in here in a minute. You want to find us, it's on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. All ours are at CanCrusher69. Ryan, what are yours?
So at the Final Count KY, you can pretty much find us on all your social medias, your Instagrams, your Twitter, Facebook, at the Final Count KY.
And we both have email addresses. This goes out to anybody that would like to be on either show. We love doing interviews. We're generic that way. We love hearing stories about how you got into wrestling, why you got into wrestling, this, that, or the other. So you want to be on the show, either DM us on all the socials or the old-fashioned. And Ryan, do you believe it's actually called old-fashioned? Like, email's an old thing now. Like, now I feel like I'm 110. Like, they're like, oh, you still email? Yeah, I do. But if you want to reach Can Crushers, it's cancrusher69@gmail.com.
And the Final Count podcast 2017 at gmail.com.
There you go. And this goes for both of us too. You could buy a shirt from me. You could buy a shirt from Ryan. But they would all be from Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Collar and Elbow has. Al Snow and Hooligans are working hard to bring cool shirts all the time. I'm actually wearing my, and I say generic, if Al would listen right now, he'd punch us both in the face, but the original property of Collar and Elbow, just the gray one. It's awesome. I've had it for years now. It doesn't stretch out. It's Ryan, what do you want to say about Collar and Elbow shirts? They're amazing.
Oh, definitely. They're definitely comfortable. Great fitting shirts for sure. Definitely, I love my Collar and Elbow shirts that I have. Yes, for sure.
And when you buy a shirt and you buy two shirts, make it two different orders or pick one or the other. I don't care today. My promo code is Can Crushers. All one word, capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers. Ryan?
And my code is the Final Count KY. And that's the capital letter for the T.
And you save 10%. So use either code. You'll help either podcast. Do whatever you want to do. Just do it today. Just buy something. That's all. Right?
Yes, for sure. Go support us. Thank you for your support.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, here comes Al Snow to tell you more about Collar and Elbow. When we come back, Ryan, AEW or WWE?
Let's go AEW.
All right, deal.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, this is the Barbie Killer, Haley Shadows. I absolutely hate Can Crushers, but I'm going to be on it, so stay tuned.
And welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. It's Mark, and my co-host for the day, once again, is Ryan Mosley from The Final Count. Ryan, you picked AEW. So I'm going to ask you this. Why are we going to AEW first?
Just something new. I don't know. That's the best answer I have. Something new. Just a new, fresh kid on the block.
Sure. I'm fine and dandy with that. Ryan, we have actually not spoken a lot about AEW. We dabble. We talk about OVW. We talk about Impact. We'll throw some stuff around with WWE. So I don't know, and it's not a hate thing that I'm throwing this at you. I don't know how you really feel about AEW. I've never asked you that question, essentially.
Yeah, so like I don't get to watch it much, but like I like it. Now it does have that WCW vibe. I can't get into a lot of how they have the oh my goodness the factions. Like everyone seems to be in a faction. Like come on, why does everyone have to be in a faction?
I've heard that before, and yeah, I don't have a defense to that. I don't know if I have to say anything good about that or bad about that. But yes, everybody is in a faction except me and you.
And, right. Maybe we need to start our own faction.
I think we do. I really think we do. So
and then another thing, the overuse of blood. Like I like blood in some matches, but if it means something,
Moxley bleeds every week. That's where you're going. Yeah. I think for Mox, that's just his character. Like, you know how the boogeyman ate worms or, stuff like that. I think that's Mox's character. Okay. I'm okay with that. But you're right. There is a lot of blood on AEW. I am a strong component for it, advocate or supporter of it. You gotta remember, Ryan, I'm an ECW guy. I do love it, but it's gotta be where it comes from. Blood would come from the heart, but it has to make it the right time. It could happen in every match for me, but I gotta see how it happened,
Yeah.
If you just peek under the ring and then you come out bloody, I'm like, what the hell happened there? Well, we know what happened there, but how are you going to sell me that happened, right?
Right.
What are some things that you like, though, about AEW? And then we'll get into some of the matches that took place this week. We're just touching base here with Ryan.
So some things that I like about AEW, they are bringing in the new stars, new stars, but known stars. Kind of the same thing Impact did back in their TNA days that they still do, But I like the new stars, the new names that they bring in. And I love that it's another place for people, for wrestlers to go. I love that. They're putting ROH on Dynamite as well. So that's a big thing. That's what that would be some things that I like with AEW.
You can tell you're a true Mark wrestling fan, whatever you want to call yourself, because you gave the best answer there in what I would think that it's another place for wrestlers to go, because there's 1,000,003 wrestlers I think out there just in one state. Like, there's so many wrestlers nowadays that as a child I didn't know about. I think it's nice that they have this next platform to gravitate to. So yes, you understand the business as it trickles up. Well, I mean, you have OVW in Kentucky. We have kind of like the sister OVW, essentially. Maybe it never's been a developmental for anybody, but now you would say they're both indies, right? You would agree? Yeah.
Oh yes, 100%.
So in Pennsylvania we have IWC, which has brought Wardlow and Britt, and Punk has been through, Claudio has been through, like the names have been through. Essentially the same thing that OVW was to WWE and Impact for, continuing Impact essentially now. So, so we got the best of both worlds here going for both me and Ryan. All right, let's break down some matches. Let's break down some matches that you liked throughout the week. And character-wise, I want to know what characters first that you actually gravitate to when you are watching AEW.
So when I'm watching AEW, I really like
Britt Baker.
As far as like the male superstars.
Britt, you're supposed to say Britt Baker there.
Yes, Britt Baker, but she's not a male.
You were supposed to say that one first.
Well, okay, Britt Baker.
All right, now you can go through it whatever you want to. Go ahead.
Sammy Guevara would be another one of mine. And then I have to go with Jericho. Yeah, I know he's been around for years, but I have to go with Jericho too.
I'm glad you went Jericho because this is the one that I really wanted to get your thoughts on. Because Jericho, and you brought up ROH, nice transition there from both of us. I love what he's doing for ROH right now. Because ROH was like the super indie show of everything. It fed WWE, it fed AEW, it fed Impact. But they've never really had a major leg to stand on because you would have people there for years, but you knew they're not staying in ROH. We don't need to name them. You know them, Adam Cole, everybody that's been there. They were never going to completely stay there. But Jericho is the greatest ROH champion right now. And I love that he hates he has the disrespect for this championship. This gives ROH a TV deal by themselves soon. Agree or disagree?
Oh no, I completely agree. I like the direction, and I do believe that they do need to branch out away from AEW, like away from Dynamite. So I definitely agree that Jericho being the champion will be able to get them to a TV deal separate from AEW and Dynamite.
Yeah, it may be the same station. Right. Listen, folks, it may be TBS and TNT all over again. But there's Saturday nights available. There's maybe ROH is essentially a syndicated show as it was for a little bit, and it's thrown on whatever time there isn't basketball or Atlanta Braves don't play baseball on there anymore, but you understand what I mean if you're an old school 605 guy. It just depends on when it gets thrown on there. That's a win for them because right now ROH is only bringing in they're not bringing in any money because their pay-per-view money, but that's once every 3 months essentially, right?
Exactly. Yes, yeah.
So,
sure.
Jericho's killing it there. Sammy Guevara, longtime listeners of Can Crushers know that I have a man crush on him. I love him. I've loved him from Wrestle Circus down in Texas. I saw him way back then. Just love the guy. He has so much hate. He is somebody that you completely hate because he's an ass.
Yeah, I have to agree with that as well, for sure.
Ryan does not have if you haven't noticed, guys, Ryan does not have a potty mouth like Mark, but that's all right. You guys have been here long enough. What are your thoughts on which I think is kind of one of the hottest, if not the hottest storyline, MJF right now?
Oh, yeah. How can we not talk about
well, you didn't mention that he was one of your favorites.
Well, I didn't think about that, but he's not one of my favorites. I like him, but he's not one of my favorites. So let's put it that way. But yeah, I like the whole thing with how he left the company and everybody thought like, oh, he was like how he didn't show up at what was it?
All Out. No, he wasn't All Out. Yeah.
All Out. And then he no-showed the signing that he was supposed to be at and everything. And so, like, and it made everybody wonder, is this part of the storyline? What is going on here? Is he leaving the company? What's going on? Or did he resign? Is he leaving? Is he going to WWE? I like that they put in those teasers with him. So I like the realness and the realistic that they brought into his story, for sure.
Yeah, this past week's promo, him and Regal on Dynamite, it was Tuesday night, by the way. If you guys have not watched it, go back and watch it. It was a tough pill to swallow. Like the whole, hey, I wrote you letters for months, Regal, and you wrote back, I'm busy, and then you finally wrote back, I'm paraphrasing, guys, I'm too busy to watch your stuff, Max. When you get good, let me know. He was booed at that time walking out of the curtain, but by the time he got done telling the story, everybody was supporting him, and the heat was going on to Regal. But then Regal, the old son of a gun that he is, spun it right back around and saying, because you're not there yet. You're a backstabber. You're this, you're that. I think he is the greatest talker right now in wrestling because he's just so damn hot.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like, can we compare him to The Miz? Maybe a Jesse Goddard's if we're going AEW or if we're going OVW. Yeah, like that. All three of them are great talkers.
Yeah,
like, and they're all three. They all three kind of have a similar look. He's definitely up there with one of the best, if not the best going today.
Yeah. Matches. The matches this week on Dynamite were pretty stellar. It was called Title Tuesday. I just thought maybe a little predictable overall. I mean, we see this Orange Cassidy feud going on with Pac. I think that match or maybe that storyline itself may be over because there's some dissension now in Death Triangle. Do you see Pac leaving or do you see the Luchas getting rid of him?
Oh, yeah, I'd say Pac would leave them instead of the Luchas getting rid of him.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think this hammer is in play. This little ring hammer is now the new Triple H's sledgehammer for Pac, essentially. Which, okay. Tony Storm and Sheeta put on a hell of a hard-hitting match. I didn't see Sheeta winning from the start, though. I knew that, something funny was going to happen, have Britt come out. Maybe we got a returning Thunder Rosa, but, I mean, that has been leaked for a while, that Rosa has pretty much canceled anything until the end of the year, besides signings. I mean, she's going to be at WrestleCade. Thank God I need to meet her. But, she's not doing matches. How do you feel, Ryan, on the interim stuff?
So I'm glad you brought that up because I was just thinking, I would actually love for the interim the interim champions. Can we just get on with it and have an AEW Women's Champion? Why does it have to be an interim champion? Like, I don't, yes, for a little bit, but not for so long.
Agreed. And I think they didn't want, when Punk got injured again and we had, the scrum and he came back and I don't think they wanted to have two interims because then everything in your whole, atmosphere of AEW is all for naught. And Tony Storm said it, we just need to get rid of this. It's the old school wrestling across the board. You get hurt, and I want to go back to NWA, you got 30 days to defend this. You can't, you drop it. Day 30, if you're, air quotes hurt and it's a story, make your rear end out through the curtain, get jumped, take the pin, do whatever to keep it in story. Fine and dandy. Interim is just not cutting it. And it's no disrespect, there's some people saying Rosa's faking this or whatever. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a DMD. I'm not a psychologist. I'm none of those things that get the DR behind it. So I don't know. But Rosa, if you're really hurt for a long time, you'll battle back. You'll be okay to give it up. Some are saying that Rosa doesn't want to lose to Tony.
I think I could see where that would come into play. Tony Storm is a threat to Rosa, and so I think Thunder Rosa, she could be she could be possibly putting on a front with this injury. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to see. I don't know how we didn't start here as we're running through my notes. I'm such an idiot. I'm being Ron Burgundy and this scrolling through them. Mox and Paige, end of the match, takes a King Kong lariat. Paige is knocked out, possible concussions. The next day he tweets, "Hey man, I had a panini and I'm feeling all right." So I wrote back, I'm like, at least you had a panini. He didn't just text it to me. I meant tweeted it. Because why would Adam Page just instantly reach out to Mark? But, I mean, he tweeted it and said this, that, and the other. That looked rough. Like, it looked hard. And, you know, our thoughts and prayers actually go out to Adam Page as well. That injury is, you know, you get back from the mend. But then, devil's advocate, Ryan, is it just to get Page away from the title for a while? Because we know what's going to happen, and it's going to be MJF and Mox for a little bit. And what does Adam have to do?
You know what? Maybe he's, you know, it could be a thing of just getting him away from the title picture. But then, you know, like we see, you know, MJF announced that at Full Gear he's cashing in. And so, like, you know, it definitely could be just a way to get Adam away from the title picture for sure. Yeah, and I think he definitely deserves to get back to the picture for sure.
Yeah, I do too. I think, you know, I truly believe, or they really got me, that it was an injury. And, you know, the whole battle back, because he's kind of AEW's underdog, right? I mean, he started with the whole winning that, facing Jericho, losing, not seeing Jericho again for years. So he's the, Al Snow would probably call him a darling, right? Isn't that the word?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of Dynamite in a nutshell. Rolling back to Rampage, we'll just do that. So let me ask you this then, because Rampage wasn't that great. The last couple weeks, Rampage has been on, as we haven't really covered it hardcore either. How stoked were you when Saraya came back?
Oh my, yes.
Okay. You knew I was getting there.
Oh yes. I was thrilled, like, oh my goodness, stoked. Like, I'm so happy to see her. Of course, you know, in the back of my mind is always like, is she, before it came out that yes, she is cleared. You know, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, I hope she's cleared, you know, because I don't want her to go over there and start to get in the ring and get active in the ring and start to have a match and then something go wrong, you know. So definitely, I was definitely stoked to see her back and see her there. Definitely, for sure.
First opponent, I think, is, you know, it's clearly going to be Britt. And I think, I mean, it's a given. If you watch AEW, it's a given. And I think it's poetic because Saraya, I don't want to say needs to win, but come on, it's her first match back. When it happens, she gets the win. Britt doesn't need anything in AEW. She is, as we call her on the show, she's one of the pillars in AEW. She's I'm not comparing it. Well, I'm going to get a lot of heat for what I almost said, but I'm still going to say it anyway. Britt's a Jericho of that women's division, essentially. She can win, she can lose, she doesn't need a title, she can just be around. She's just AEW's darling woman, essentially. So, and it's a huge win for Saraya to get that win over Paige after being off for 7 years. Was it 7? It's definitely 7.
Something like that, 6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a match Britt wants. It really is. So that's cool that they're going to work together. I'm stoked for it. 2 of my favorites of all time. So let's speculate a little bit. You were the booker here coming forward. MJF get the title off of Mox? Yes or no?
Definitely, yes. Yeah.
All right. Of course. That I agree with you 100%. Who's MJF's next victim then? Because he has it for a while.
That's a good question that I really have to put some thought into for sure.
I say, just to give you a little glimmer, I think it's somebody like Morrissey because the whole firm is falling apart real quick or something like that. I mean, clearly he's going to have, and I'm not saying opponent for a reason, because he's going to have this title for a while. That's why I'm saying victim. A couple people are going to lose before there's actually a real story, I think, with MJF. So Morrissey to kind of break away from this firm that he doesn't need them anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that too for sure. And yeah, I'd love to see Morrissey go up against him for sure too.
Right? Yeah, I agree. Another thing that's going on in AEW that I would like to maybe predict and break up. I hate Warjo. Can't Crusher fans know this. I love both of them. I hate them together because it means two titles are getting no justice on TV. The ROH TV Championship and the TNT Championship, which Wardlow had to battle through 9 million people to get a match for. Now it's not being defended. It literally is just a prop for him.
Yeah, for sure. It needs to be defended. They need to take more seriousness with these titles for sure. Like make people care about them. Like if you're not putting them on the line, if you're not giving me a reason to care, why am I caring? Why am I watching? So.
Yeah. It's a title for a reason. You have to build a story around it. It's what somebody wants. I mean, Wardlow didn't want to win this title just to have it around his waist or hold it.
Exactly.
So.
To hold up his tights.
Yeah. Hold up his straps. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I love AEW. I know this. You guys hear this week in and week out from me and Jenks, but it's so much fun. It gives you, dude. For 20 years, we only had one thing, so it's refreshing. One for talent to have elsewhere, but kind of mixed it up. You said the whole WCW vibe. I'll give you that with ECW thrown in. It's just, it's not for everybody because some people were like, oh man, I didn't like WCW back in the 90s. Just don't hate on it then. Just turn it. You don't have to watch something that's on TV, right?
Exactly. And that's the beauty about wrestling. There's so much variety, especially nowadays. There's so much variety. And so you don't have to like one. You don't have to like them all. You can just like one. You can just like two. But just go out and support them, watch them.
I agreed. I couldn't say it any better. All right, Ryan, that's a wrap for AEW. Unless you have anything in AEW you want to bring up, I didn't give you a chance to have a topic at all. Do you have anything that you want to bring up?
No, I think we pretty much covered it for sure.
All right. So that means we'll trickle over to WWE. Probably more that we'll fight about in WWE than AEW. One may be the greatest return ever. Without a spoiler. That is a spoiler. Oh my God. It's almost like I've been drinking all night. I've not. We'll be back to talk WWE here in a minute.
Hey everybody, this is Cherry. You are listening to Can Crushers Podcast. I hope you enjoy.
And welcome back to Can Crushers. It's time for segment number 3. It's WWE segment this week because Ryan said we have to go AEW first. And they're like, wait, what? Who the hell's Ryan? It's Ryan Mosley from The Final Count. Guys, make sure you check out his podcast. Ryan, did you just hear that comeback? It was Cherry.
Yes, I definitely did. Like, wow, Cherry. That's taking me back to my OVW days for sure. Like not my OVW days of continuously going there when she was there. Wow, like the Deuce and Domino, her and Cherry, or them with Cherry rather. That was some awesome times. And then you think of like Roca, Melina Roca, which was Rosa Mendez.
Yep.
In WWE, and so like such a great time in wrestling in OVW. That was like around the 2006, 2007 era of OVW. And Cherry's one of my favorites. She's was always one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, guys, that wasn't even meant to be this way, but cheap plug. If you haven't heard the spotlight that we had with Cherry, run back and listen to it. Just head over whatever you listen to on Spotify, find the link. You guys know how podcasts work. Just find that. What a sweetheart. We did talk about some OVW days. We talked about a little bit of this, a little bit of that. By the way, if you're in the Winston-Salem area during November 25th, 26th, and 27th, she'll be at WrestleCade 2. Stop by and meet her. She loves fans. You'll hear it in the podcast. I will ruin this right now, Ryan, for your podcast version here on Can Crushers. She might get to crush you for the podcast of the year. I was so engulfed into her interview. I mean, it's in the top. It's in the top. It's one of, it's not super emotional. It was just the stories that she released that I loved it. I love talking to Cherry. She was one of my favorites, and if she's listening, she'd be like, "Oh, I don't want this guy around me at WrestleCade." She was one of my crushes, man. She's one of my. You can't lie either. She was one of my crushes.
Oh yeah, and I can see why she would be one of your favorites too. I mean, look at her.
Yeah, right. Now we're creepy. Let's stick and stay on OVW for a minute, then we'll get to WWE. Folks, we'll get to WWE. We got plenty of time to talk WWE. Before you throw some stuff out at me, I want to say this, and I want to see how you feel about it, because you get more OVW than I do. I'm not going to lie. I watch it essentially when I can, but, we both talked to Jada. This Wednesday's, I'm going to spoil it right now. This Wednesday's spotlight is with Savage Not Average Judy Hendricks. So make sure you hold out and listen to that. Ryan, I have said this. There's another women's revolution coming. And they're all going to be from OVW. I'm telling you that. I mean, sprinkle some others in around as well. But
definitely.
You have Judy, you have Jada, you have Dream Girl Ellie, you have Freya, you have Hollywood. I mean, they're building something, and you're going to see maybe all of them don't trickle right to WWE, or all of them don't trickle right to Impact, or all of them don't trickle to AEW. At some point, they're going to meet again, and they're just going to build up so much. I'm telling you. Go ahead. Now you can run with it.
Oh no, I completely agree. For sure. Like you have Freya the Slayer. I mean, she's like a powerhouse in OVW. You have
I forgot about the champion, Layla Gray. Don't forget.
Yeah, Layla Gray, and who's also a AEW talent, who is one of the baddies with Jade Cargill, for sure. She's already on the main stage. I mean, so she's already getting out there. So many opportunities for these women in OVW, even right now, that they've already been on AEW Dark, or maybe they've done a dark match for WWE, or even a TV match for WWE. I mean, like Hollywood Haley J, like she's so talented, and she's one of my favorites to watch. And Ari Alexander, who is right now goes by Atari. She's with Ryan Howe, or Ryan Von Rocket. And so for sure the women's division in OVW right now could not be any more stacked than it possibly is right now.
So you go to many events at the historical Davis Arena. So I don't want this coming out of your mouth unless if you agree, cool. I'm saying this, and I'm putting it on record, and I love all the guys. Spectacular, I love them all. I think the women are killing it more.
No, I definitely would have to agree. And that's 100%.
I mean, I don't want any guys coming at either one of us, but I think Maria, amazing Maria, who is, listen, folks, we know, kind of like the coach in the locker room, the mom in the locker room, is just giving it and just feeding these women the absolutely best stories and everything that can happen in professional wrestling. And I said, it's creating another revolution.
I completely agree, for sure.
So Al, Doug, guys on the roster, we're sorry. Better
Step
pick up. Yeah, you better pick up your game. You said it first. They'll see you before they see me. So
yeah.
So fill me in on some of the guys' stuff, because what's going on in OVW, and who are some people that you think we said watch the women's roster, so let's give the guys some props as well. Who are some people that should be watched on the guys' side of OVW, and people should still be watching OVW for free on YouTube, idiots?
Exactly. Now, for the guys' side of OVW, I would say definitely, for sure, one of the top guys in OVW is Cal Hero, the Fanny Pack kid, Cal Hero. He's
him.
For sure definitely someone who fans should definitely be looking out for. He's young in the business, and he's grown up in the business too. And so he's for sure going to be one that will make a name for himself, and he already has. But he'll just grow bigger and bigger, for sure. Some other people I can think of would be the current OVW Rush Division champion, Luke Curtis. He's someone to look out for sure. I could definitely see him going to like Impact for sure.
Soon.
Oh yeah. Like he has that look for that he could be definitely on Impact.
Yeah. I want to give props to, let's just throw this out there, one of my good friends in OVW, Cash Flow. Two Belts Cash. Cash. What else can Cash be? Because Two Belts Cash it sounds good, but there's got to be a Cachet Cash or something. He's
Top Dollar Cash.
What?
Top Dollar Cash.
Top Dollar Cash, yeah. So, trying to link with Two Belts or something. He is one of the most humble, amazing human beings. Go back and this wasn't made for self promotion. It really wasn't. I'm sorry, Ryan, but go back and listen when he was on. Holy Christ, probably 3 years ago. But he is awesome. Like a couple of years ago when we had wrestling in Du Bois, Pennsylvania, guys, in and around our area, I hadn't seen him in a couple years. I'm like, oh, he gave me the biggest bear hug. I'm like, hi, buddy. And he's an amazing human being. Like, vet in the business that wants everything done right and takes care of the rooks and the noobs and anybody else like this. He needs, get ready, I'll get hate, at least a cup of coffee at his age. And that's where I'm going to get the hate. At his age, I would love for him at least, at the bare minimum, to get a cup of coffee at any of the big three so people can see what you've missed out on.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, I agree. Like, and he's believe it or not, he's worldwide known.
He is,
for sure. And so, like, yeah, he definitely deserves a main stage showing or showcase, for sure. I definitely love to see that. Someone else I'd like to mention, the current OVW Kentucky Heavyweight Champion, Jack Vaughn, the veteran Jack Vaughn.
Yeah.
He's someone that you should definitely be looking out for, too.
I actually saw Jack for the first time. I don't remember when I went. I went to FSG, Future Great Wrestling, FGW, Mark, is the way it would be, in Cincinnati. I went out to see Shauna Reed. Oh, by the way, that's another one that pops in and out of OVW, Shauna Reed.
Yes.
Haley Shadows as well. Again, the women's division. Just look it up. It's amazing. I saw Jack for the first time at Future Great Wrestling in Cincinnati. It's close enough to Cincinnati. Just trust me. He was amazing. I love him. I love the gimmick. I love everything about him. I love the technicality of it. I just love the throwback. So much Larry Zbyszko in him. That's exactly who I thought.
Yeah, just the old school wrestler type feel. I love it.
Yeah. Another person that should get dues as well. All right. OVW, guys. Ryan covers a lot of OVW. Again, check out the Final Count podcast for that. He'll give you more than I will on OVW. I'll get some trickle people for spotlights and everything. But that's a long enough tease, Ryan. That it was a long enough tease to talk about the greatest comeback ever of Bray Wyatt.
Yes. Definitely. Like, I'm so stoked that Bray Wyatt. And how awesome was that return, too? Like, after the match, after that, the match between Riddle and
Seth?
Riddle and Rollins at Extreme Rules, that return. I loved it.
Yeah, that I agree. I agree. I love the only thing, and people heard me say this last week, I think the QR codes did nothing for me because I wasn't getting on for the QR codes. I waited for the co-host or other people to tell me what they were. I'm not. There's times I want to do extra work, but when you knew. When it was a white rabbit, you knew that you knew it was going to be Bray.
Yeah.
I didn't need to hunt that far. I just wanted to see the pomp and circumstances that he came back on. And I'm like, all right, how are they going to do this? Is he going to interrupt a match or da-da-da-da-da? That blew my mind. When all the characters were alive, and I'm like, oh my God. Shivers when I saw, again, my favorite one, Huskus the Pig. He may make my sleeve tattoo. That guy, what the heck's his name? Joe Gacy. We gave ours last week, and I'll let you give yours here in a second. Joe Gacy is Huskus the Pig. I'm sorry, Joe. You cannot be anything but Huskus the rest of your life because it's awesome.
That's great. Yeah. Now my favorite has to be Ramblin' Rabbit.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Mine is Ramblin' Rabbit for sure. Now I do not for sure know who I would guess who would be Ramblin' Rabbit. I don't know.
You believe that it's Joe Gacy for Huskus the Pig, right?
Oh yeah, Huskus. I could see. Yeah, Joe Gacy for sure. Yeah, he has that look. Yeah.
And last week, I think both of us said Abigail is going to be Alexa.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The Rambling Rabbit, I think we both said it's going to be his brother Bo.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah.
And then Buzzard is Waller from NXT as well.
Yeah.
And then the other Bray, and we'll talk about what happened Friday night, guys. Slow your roll. And we'll talk. The other Bray, we think it's just another persona of Bray Wyatt. It may not be a person per se to be Bray. It's just going to be him jumping back and forth, kind of a la Dude Love, Cactus Jack, and Chainsaw Charlie. I mean, Mankind. So,
yes.
Last Friday, at the beginning of SmackDown, we saw Karrion Kross and Scarlett get in a wreck and then got beat to heck by Drew McIntyre. Are you happy? And I'm transitioning all of this. We'll get there. Are you happy to see Triple H bringing these people back that we were all shocked in the very first release that got released and continued to get released? Are you happy that people are coming back like that?
100% happy about it. I love what Triple H is doing with the company. I feel like the company's in a better direction, a much better direction, under the leading and guiding of Triple H. Look at who he's brought back. Dakota Kai, Io Sky. And then you have the returns of Hit Row. I love Hit Row. Hit Row is one of my favorites. You have Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Just so many, just that he's been bringing back. You have Candice LeRae. I mean, come on,
Right?
Mrs.
Mrs. Wrestling. Mrs. Wrestling.
Yes,
I agree, but this is where we're going to fight. I love that they're all back, and it's a lot of people coming back. Some are going to get lost in the shuffle again.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. Even the big ones that came back. I don't think Bray's gonna get lost for a while. ... Right. But I think he may, unless you give him and I'm not saying the Undertaker persona, but the Undertaker treatment then. But has he earned that, Ryan?
To me, I don't think he's yet necessarily earned it. Now, I'd have to agree that, yes, if you give him that persona, and it will be a while till he, gets lost in that shuffle or gets, till they get, okay, well, he's that new toy now, but okay, now another toy's come along. Another toy's been brought up from NXT, who we think is the new hot flavor, the new better toy now.
Yeah.
What happens when that time comes?
Exactly, and it's going to. It always happens after WrestleMania. Spoiler if you haven't watched wrestling in your life, but it always happens after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Or there's another person that is going to be coming back. Probably Randy Orton. People are going to go nuts about him when he comes back. Brock came back. Did that steal any of Bray's? I don't think.
No.
I really didn't think. But I'm saying now. Listen, Monday night, Baron Corbin finished the trade from Rey Mysterio, and I want to talk about that whole issue as well. So I hope you're writing notes down because there's so many things I've just encapsulated here in a minute. The trade from Rey to SmackDown, and we get Baron Corbin to Raw. I was more happy to see JBL, and I think Corbin, we have all these new toys, all these new action figures that are coming back. Oh, cool. Baron Corbin's back. Or as much as I love Elias, I walk with Elias. He's a Pittsburgh boy.
Right.
Okay, Elias is back. There's going to be cuts again, guys, and you are going to get mad that maybe Elias gets cut because, cool, we can't have him sing every week. We have Bray that's got something to do. We have, one of your pillars in Riddle and Rollins that have to continue. As long as 3 hours it's a long time for Raw. But if Trips is going to do it right, we're going to get longer matches. We're going to get storylines that mean something to carry from month to month. We don't need 150 wrestlers on the roster. And that goes for both AEW and WWE. There's just too much, maybe, on each roster.
No, that's a valid point. Like you said, who really cares? Maybe, I'll admit I was excited to see Elias back. But it really wasn't like he was gone because
Right.
Ezekiel. I mean,
But his career's cut short. It's done.
Let's just put it out here. I mean, and then Baron Corbin. Yeah, I was not excited to see Baron Corbin at all. I could care less. Yes, it's going to do good for his career having JBL there. Yes, I agree, but it will do good for him having JBL as his manager, as the one behind him. It's going to help him. I feel like. I like how they're going to call him the new wrestling god. I love that.
His attire needs spruced up, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I cut you off as well. So go ahead and finish what you were going to say.
But I'm not happy to see Corbin back. Yes, I like again that they're calling him the new wrestling god, but I'm not excited to see him back. And people are going to have to get used to it. There will be more cuts coming. Like you said, around WrestleMania season. they find a new toy.
Sooner than later. It's essentially, listen, it happened in the 90s, in the 80s, and, so far back that people just weren't in territories after a while because your services weren't needed. It's just there's this thing out there called the internet that we're on, that we understand. I'm throwing shade at it right now. We just didn't know that the Rock and Roll Express went to Smoky Mountain for a little bit and left NWA because there was contract negotiations, or don't fact check that. I'm just throwing it out there. Just stuff like that. We just thought, well, they're going to go do a tour at Smoky Mountain or the Midnight Express or the Road Warriors. It was about contracts. People didn't know it. Now we know when people take a crap. It's too much sometimes. You have to just enjoy it. All right, so let me roll back to Bray Wyatt first. Then we got Ray. Then we have other things, Brock, and then. But all right, so Bray Wyatt. Where are we going with this? Who's his first opponent? Who do you see prediction wise that I don't think he wrestles for a while. First off, but where do you think we're going with this?
Yeah, I think you keep him off of maybe at least till I wouldn't say as far as the Rumble, but I'd say at least Survivor Series. I wouldn't put him on Crown Jewel. I wouldn't do that.
No.
Although Saudi Arabia has that money deal, so if they want him, they're going to get him. But I don't think it's smart to put him on that show right away. I've heard the rumors about that he is going to be a part of some type of at Survivor Series, a part of a War Games match. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's true. Again, a rumor.
Right.
So
I'd be all right with that. I think that would be okay to slide him in to something like that to start, and then that's where he gets a feud from. I don't want him in the Royal Rumble match. I don't. Bray does not to be associated with a title for a while. No.
Yeah.
I think that hurts him more than helps him. Last Friday night, real quick, he came out. He gave probably one of the touching, and I thought it was really, rotunda talking. That he was welcome back and everything. It just was so awkward the way he was thanking everybody and the mask came up. I thought there was more to tell. The show cut, at least in Pennsylvania where I get it. I don't know if it's Pittsburgh or Johnstown or whatever pipes the TV in. But the SmackDown cut like with 3 minutes left. So I kind of felt it was rushed. They were trying to tell us a story, but it was never complete. I felt like, is the in-house, wherever they were, I don't remember, getting more out of this? Why are they hiding this from us? What the heck's going on? Why did Fox, Johnstown or Pittsburgh or whatever, why did they cut it? Like, I felt something was wrong with that promo. Just to find out that's where it was cut. Like, it was a emotional yet stupid promo for his return, in my books.
No, for sure. Like, I loved the promo for sure, but the ending, yeah, it was a, abrupt ending per se. But like, I think and you kind of brought this up earlier with the other Bray Wyatt character, the Fiend, I guess. You kind of brought this up, maybe he's going to be that Fiend too. And then also himself. So maybe this is like a split personality thing.
So maybe his first match is against himself, cinematically wise? I would hope not. I'd
hope not too, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's kind of Bray a little bit. How are you on this whole Judgment Day and Dom and Ray and Dom and Rhea, the Judgment Day and the OC, Judgment Day and Edge, Judgment Day and Beth. It seems like the Judgment Day has a lot of people that hate them. And none of the stories are closed.
Yeah, exactly. It's I love that Dominic is with the Judgment Day. I loved when he attacked Ray and attacked Edge at the pay-per-view. I loved that. That was awesome. So I loved him becoming a part of Judgment Day. Now, I do feel like they are in too many stories going on there. I like the Rhea Ripley, and like she's kind of like the dominator, I guess, over Dominic.
Oh yeah,
if that makes sense.
Oh, we get your picture. Yeah.
So maybe there's a little bit of thing going on there. I think she's more than just Poppy.
Yeah, S&M, BDM, whatever, all those initials that maybe we shouldn't talk about. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So I like what they're doing with her and Dominic as well. And I like the teases that they're doing with that. And I feel like, and I don't know if you noticed that the crowd a few weeks ago, they started chanting Eddie's son.
Yep.
I feel like they're going to tease, or they're going to say that he is, and that's what they're going to bring it back to, that Dominic is Eddie's son.
I thought the same thing. I really did. And I think that's where Ray gets to hit his son, and we get some fighting there. Because, listen, we understand. Hey, listen! We understand that Ray is now on SmackDown. They are on Raw. We don't know if there's a draft. It's usually the day after Survivor, or like the day before Survivor Series, or in and around that area, which makes no sense for brand versus brand then. So maybe that's not going to happen this year. Like, a lot of questions coming up. But I love that they separated them, because this is a WrestleMania match if it happens.
Yeah.
We can't have them around each other from now to WrestleMania. I don't know if that story has enough legs to get that far unless you continue to add stuff. So Ray wanting to quit, I love it. It'll be brought up. It'll be hinted here and there every once in a while. Cool, fine and dandy. Maybe they cross paths at a live event in, Poughkeepsie or wherever the heck they're going to. Okay. Keep them off of pay-per-views or streaming live events or whatever the heck they're called nowadays. Keep them off from each other. But he hears that his son is doing this. He hears about Eddie's name being called. He hears this. I like that now. Now this is intriguing me that they're completely different and they're not going to see eye to eye.
Exactly.
I just feel that now that they have the OC involved, like with AJ again, this was rushed. Like, this is going to be an event at Saudi or whatever. There's just too much now because Edge isn't done. You just had Edge and Beth start this whole thing. And that was cool to have Edge and Beth against Finn and Rhea, essentially. Or Punishment, I always call him Punishment Martinez because he's my cousin, you know that. Punishment Martinez and Rhea, whatever. However you make up that mixed tag team. Cool. You have Ray. Now you're throwing the OC in this. You're like, what storyline makes sense right now with the Judgment Day? Which wraps back around for Mark for 1 second, then I'll let you run it again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like them. I have not been on board with them because it still doesn't make any sense. What do we need? What are they trying to tell us? What Judgment Day? At least when they had Edge, he was a prophecy, so to speak, and he was telling us stuff. They're not giving us a message. What the hell is the Judgment Day?
No, I completely agree. Like, yeah, what is the Judgment Day like? Uh, I agree, and it felt like more of like the Brood esque,
Yes.
like Brood 2.0, when Edge was with the Judgment Day. And so yeah, I'm just like I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like what they're doing. I love what they're doing.
Trying to.
But
Try it. I do like it. Don't get me wrong. I do like it. I need a focus. I made a mean face right there, by the way. If anybody, besides the pictures hanging on the wall in here, didn't see it, I'm like, I need a focus. That's all. I'm 45. I can barely understand a gnat sometimes.
but
Go ahead.
but I definitely see so I honestly don't think that Rey Mysterio going to SmackDown is going to stop the Judgment Day from going over there. And that's just because of it seems to me lately that everybody gets to go wherever they want to.
That was my next question. I was going to feed it right to you. Are we getting the end of a brand split? And then I'll throw the caveat on this then once you answer.
I want to say yes, but I'm hoping no. Because I love the brand separation. I love the brand split. And that's just because, again, going back to the too many toys. If you're on separate, if you keep them separate, then people get more TV time. And so I feel like yes, it's going to happen. We are at the end of it. But I'm hoping no.
2 years ago, I wanted the end of the brand split because it was probably needed. It may be needed now, but now you made the exact point I was going to say. We have a ton of toys again. With a ton of new toys, Brock being back, Bray being back, the Bloodline's by far the number one thing there, like it or not, and the number one thing in the Bloodline right now is Sami Zayn. All of that gets ample TV time. Rhonda is there, so Fox wants her all over the TV. You're going to get returns of Charlotte, maybe Sasha, maybe Naomi. They're popping around, who knows. Bayley is always great on TV. So we have this brand split, and it ends. Well, guess what? USA wants Bayley. Fox wants Bayley. Okay, Bayley's on both shows. Well, that means Zelina Vega is not. That means, again, the whole toys thing. We need the brand split nowadays, folks. We really do. Do we need a third hour of SmackDown? No, we do not. Do we need another show? No, because then you get saturation. Just think longer matches, which then in a sense, as I said the same thing, longer matches means less time for Elias and Corbin and Dolph Ziggler and people like that. We're not trying to solve the world hunger or anything. We're not trying to solve wrestling either because we don't know what the hell's going on. But we just want it to make sense sometimes.
Agreed. Yes. And then do you, because you notice that they're sending people down, they're sending guys and girls down to NXT again. Is that a demotion?
Is it? A couple of years ago when it was the black and gold brand, I would have said, sending KO down for a little bit, that's awesome. Because let's not pull punches, Ryan. NXT was the hottest thing in WWE for a while. The best.
Oh, yeah.
When the Undisputed Era was down there and all those people like that, the best thing going. 2.0 it was okay, but it wasn't great. Now we get this brand back. Is it a demotion? Shinsuke's down there. Apollo's down there. I mean, people that are all on these main rosters. I mean, Mandy Rose, I think, definitely redefined her craft down there. So it helps. It's better for people. But you sent Shinsuke Nakamura down there? What? What did he have to define his craft for? I don't know.
And it could be just a one-time thing, but I've heard that they are sending him down there for more shows. So I don't know. I kind of see it as a demotion.
I do too. I mean, listen, Mandy Rose she excelled down there. Now I think when she comes to the main roster, I just said it like that. When she comes back up to one of the other shows, I think now she gets this mega push up there or whatever. Yes, I think it does help some people. But I will say this one. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura, come on. Shinsuke Nakamura is the one that just blows my mind. Because you have nothing for him to do? Or is it because he's rehabbing? Are they using NXT as a rehab center? And I don't mean drugs or anything like that. That sounded horrible the way it came out of my mouth. An injury rehab.
Yeah, and see, that's what they used OVW for as well back in the developmental days. And so they brought, Edge to OVW. They brought Mark Henry down here to OVW. And so, yeah, that's a good valid point, too. They could be sending him down to rehab an injury.
So, I don't know. I'm still not on board with NXT again yet, though. How are you really feeling about NXT? We really don't talk a lot about NXT, actually, either.
I watch NXT, but it's not something I really keep up with too much. Yeah, so, I mean, I like what they've done with Mandy. I love Toxic Attraction.
Yes.
I love them.
Yeah.
How can you go wrong with Toxic Attraction? Yeah, I love Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is awesome. I really like him. I can't wait for him to get moved up, but I hope they don't move him up too soon.
That's the thing. Right now, these are my thoughts. You move Braun Breaker up right now. There's 2 other monsters waiting for him.
Yeah.
He gets fed to one of them. And I have it be Braun or almost, so they're trying to push again. I think he gets fed right off the bat. I mean, he's not going to run right. I mean, I don't want Gunther losing the IC title to Ray, but I think it's going to happen. And I think Gunther actually gets pushed a little bit more. Who's the U.S.? Rollins is the U.S. champ. Clearly, he's going to have that for a little bit. If anybody, I thought maybe Riddle getting the win to kind of elevate him a little bit, which longtime listeners, you should know this too. I despise Riddle. It's not a gimmick I can get into. I don't support the get ready. Hate for people that support it. I don't support the 420, blah, 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 before all of that. So I don't need that. That's, again, I have a remote, right? I'm not talking bad, but when he comes on, I'm going to check out what the score is on Monday Night Football.
Right.
I'm being honest, very transparent. So, yeah, essentially that. We've completely, if there was a list that we were running with, it's been thrown away. What else? How are you on the Bloodline? Since I did bring them up, do you really love it? Do you want Roman ever to lose these titles?
Now, I would like to see him lose the titles. I love the Bloodline. Don't get me wrong. I love the Bloodline. I love that they brought Solo Sikoa up to join, and I love the thing with Sami Zayn and was it
Jay?
Jimmy or Jay? One of the two. Is Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Jay. I love that thing that they got going on. The teasing is maybe Jay's gonna get out of the Bloodline possibly, or maybe they're gonna actually end up throwing Sammy out. One of the two is going to happen. But then, does that mean Jay goes off on his own and the Usos are no more if that happens? So, but now with Roman, I would love to see him lose the belt. Not the belts, not anytime soon. But I'd like the belts to be back on different shows. I don't like
Yep.
If you want to unify titles, put them in one title. Make one new belt.
I agree. Same thing with the tag team titles. Since they've been unified champions, so we'll just engulf this whole thing. Since they've been unified champions, how many times did they defend them? Once, twice? Again, don't fact check. It's probably been more because there's live event tag titles on the line in Hershey, Pennsylvania, or whatever. I understand that. On paper, yes, they're defended, but real competition defended. I don't know. Those need split up.
Yeah. Or make a new set of titles and it just be for all brands. I mean,
and then travel and defend them.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that brings this question then. Who does Roman lose them to by WrestleMania? Why WrestleMania? I don't think the Roman Rock match is for the titles. I think it's for the moniker head of the table. And I believe we're getting it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you drop him to... Now, does he drop both belts? Does he defend one at one, special pay-per-view, and then Logan Paul's not going to win them? Let's just say that right off the bat. Logan Paul's not going to win the belts. If he does, I'll be shocked. If he does, I'll shave my hair or something. I don't know.
Remember that. I'll hold you on that one. But let me.
I know you will.
Let me stir the pot then. Why not Logan Paul? Why not? Because listen, he's an athlete. He had a couple of matches were good to better than good, understandably. Then you can have him attacked. I mean, nobody wants Logan Paul as champion. Nobody. But he shows up Monday night. Kevin Owens kicks his ass and takes one title. And I'm just saying Kevin Owens. I don't know who I'd pick. Kevin Owens kicks his ass, take one title. Well, he's still got one, and he's going to go show it off on SmackDown. I don't know. Whoever who's on SmackDown, that he takes it. Then you get the titles back on. But now you've already had The Rock cut a promo on Roman saying, see, you're not the head of the table. So now Roman's not worried about the titles. Now he's worried about the real bloodline of his family. And this leads up to WrestleMania. Probably the main event of a WrestleMania. Because, listen, how can you not have Rock and Roman end the show? You're not going to have it at match 6 on night 1, right? It's not. All titles will be on night 1, and then you'll have like grudge matches on night 2 or whatever. Why not Logan Paul? He can have them for a week. You can have him do his David Arquette stuff for a week. It's going to be noteworthy across the freaking world because he's a YouTube sensation. We'll all hate it, but it could progress a story better. Because if Roman loses one night and then loses the next night, what does that do for Roman's 900-year reign that he's just been on?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and I might have just eaten my words right there.
I would get ready. Ryan, you cover your ears. I would fucking hate that. But I'm just saying it makes sense. I might have talked everybody in the world into it, but why not? Go ahead. Eat your words.
That's going to be a hard words to swallow, but for sure. That is a valid point. It would put more eyes, I would feel like, on the company. That Logan Paul being in WWE, being signed by them, that started putting eyes on them now.
Yeah.
Because he does have a huge, massive YouTube following. And so, like, and then, the boxing and him and his brother and everything. So, like, yeah, definitely that's a good point, for sure.
True wrestling fans would be so pissed.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
pissed.
a great way to tick people off and piss people off. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So there, yeah. The Usos then essentially just lose the title. The bloodline explodes then, essentially. Boom. And then the Usos just end up losing. The Usos can lose back-to-back nights and still be one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. They've lost won enough that their title reigns are irrelevant now. It just makes them look good that they have all the titles.
And now let's talk about another key factor in this thing, because we have Austin Theory with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
Does he cash in? Say Logan Paul wins. Does he cash in immediately and win the belts from Logan Paul? Or does he cash in on Roman Reigns?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. All of them. These titles, again, I'm just going to say, I mean, maybe it doesn't happen in Saudi. Maybe it's not Logan Paul. Maybe it's, by the way, if you have not noticed, and you only get your wrestling news from either Can Crushers or The Final Count, there's no pay-per-view or streaming live event, or it would always be a pay-per-view to me. There is no pay-per-view between Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble. That means nothing in December, and day one has been scrapped as well. So there's like 2.5 months. But that's the build-up that you need for The Rock and Roman to Rumble, to meet face-to-face, and then to sign a match for Mania, all being via Skype or whatever they're going to say it's on. Because you may see The Rock at Royal Rumble. You're not going to see him at the next one, whatever it's called, Backlash or whatever the February one is and the March one. It's the 6 months build-up then. I want that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I definitely want to see Rock and Roman. I think we will see a Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. Let it happen, please.
Yeah. And the thing is, Ryan, I want to see family members. I know, like, Afa and Sika are a little bit older, but I mean, I want anybody that's engulfed into this bloodline. That's, Nia Jax comes back and makes homage to The Rock, saying, no, he's the head of the table, not you, Roman. You're maybe a predecessor when, just like when the Pope dies, there's the next Pope, or when the Queen dies, when The Rock dies, you could be head of the table. He might not be in wrestling, but he's here now, so he's the head of the table. So this could be Flair Steamboat, just have matches for a while. Will they be as great as Flair and Steamboat? I don't know, but just saying, this could go on for a while. Essentially, is where I'm at.
100%. Yes.
We just don't need titles around this whatsoever, at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more than about a title.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know. What else do you want to talk about WWE wise? Is there anything else that's like, yes?
What's your thoughts on Dexter Lumis? I love the Dexter Lumis and Miz thing. Now, apparently Miz has an injury, though.
Yeah. Did you put the air quotes up when you said injury?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
I've loved Dexter. I love Dexter down in NXT. I love that the dude would scare the bejesus out of me if I met him. Like, I don't know. it feels like that's him. Like, I believe his name is Scott Shaw or something like that, because when he got released, he was doing some stuff on the indies. Like, I really think that's him. You know how The Undertaker was The Undertaker everywhere in his life? I think Scott Shaw is Dexter everywhere in his life. And he scares me. At the age of 45, I'm scared of him. What?
It's Sam Shaw.
Oh, Sam Shaw. Okay, there you go.
And he was actually also in LVW. Yes. Yeah, because he was actually in Impact for a little bit too, from Gut Check.
Yes.
Yes.
Scott Shaw was. This is horrible. I brought up Scott Shaw because I think he was my 6th grade social studies teacher. I knew it was Shaw, but Scott Shaw is my social studies teacher. Good.
That's great.
But no, I love it. You love it. I'm guessing. Like,
yes.
What's gonna be the end all though for Miz and Loomis before I start calling him Mr. Shaw and ask him where Kentucky's at?
Now, I feel like that there will be a payoff to this. Will we find out whatever happened, that they somehow can't seem to tell what happened to the Miz, and all he's saying is it's he who shall not be talked about, or he who shall not be named? Like, why are you not naming what happened behind closed doors, basically? Will it come out?
I hope. And guys, of course, if you're listening to this, it would come out Monday anyway. It wouldn't come out last night. If you're listening to this and you know something, listen, we're not watching SmackDown. SmackDown's on right now as we're recording. We do this every Friday. You know how it is. We'll talk about SmackDown next week. So whatever happened on SmackDown, we'll get to. But yeah, I don't. Who do you think is whom? Do you think there's somebody else with Dexter? Do you think it links back to Bray?
That's a very well possibility. And maybe that's why he keeps referring he who should not be named, or and that's very well possibility.
Because there's also been somebody else linked to Bray being linked to returning as well. Eric Rowan. I
feel like, he would be a great person to put with Bray and Dexter too. That just the characters they line up with something for Bray as well.
Yeah, for sure. You keep running because I'm out of topics. I've wasted everything. If you want to bring up anything else, cool. If not, I love you.
I just let's talk about damage control real quick. For sure. How can we not talk about damage control? I love the damage control. Bailey and Io and Dakota. I love this thing with them. Do we see? I see Bailey becoming the women's champion and taking the title from Bianca.
I do too, but I don't. Monday night she has another match against Bianca. It was announced. I don't know if it's for the title yet. I think it's kind of get another win over Bianca so she can rub it in her face, and then Bianca gets mad, and then we get another title shot. But I don't think it's going to be at Survivor Series. I think it trickles a little bit because they've announced a women's Survivor Series match, right? Or a War Games match or whatever. So it lines up clearly Damage Control, right? Why would it not be Damage Control? They're your women's faction. Well, the feud is then essentially with Bianca. Maybe Asuka's healthy. Maybe you have to pull somebody else because Alexa's not around or cleared to be back yet until she's Abigail when we find out down the line. So she asks, it's 4-on-4, she asks Candice, Damage Control, this is where I've been going the whole way, Damage Control says, yeah, we have a surprise person. And Candice ends up being that fourth member and turning a la mid-match.
Yeah, now I would love that, actually.
I think she fits Damage Control more than Bianca's group.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I feel like, yeah, Candice would make a great addition to Damage Control for sure.
The other two are probably going to be Shotzi and Raquel. Actually, I'll throw that out there right now. The other for Bianca's team, because they're fighting with the tag team. They want the tag team titles. So it would be announced. It would be Bianca, Candice, Shotzi, and Raquel against all of Damage Control, and they have a surprise person, and that surprise person being Candice mid-match. I love Damage Control. I do. At first, I was like, well, again, though, what are they controlling? Now they're controlling at least the tag team division, and when Bayley gets the title, they'll be controlling all of the division. It was baby steps for me to get to it.
They're going to control the women's division.
Yeah, well, I didn't think that at first. Because when they announced it, I'm like, what are you controlling? You're not controlling anything. You just returned. What does this mean?
Right.
Ryan, I'm old. Yeah. It takes me a minute. Do we see? We'll end on this one. Folks. We'll have Ryan back. I think we need to have Ryan back more to do more catch-ups like this. Plus, I know Jenks is going to have a lot of... I think it's going to be monthly, this, that, or the other. He was telling me. Sometimes I don't listen. You can ask him. We'll have you back. Actually join in whatever. We'll just have you on more because I love this kind of platform tonight. Where was I going, Ryan? That's it. When do we get, are we getting Sasha back?
I would love to say yes, we're getting both Sasha, not just Sasha, but
and
both
Naomi.
her and Naomi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say you hold them off till WrestleMania. Make them, or Royal Rumble if you want to get them earlier, but make it something special when they come back.
Yeah.
And make it for the tag team titles. Make it for those women's tag titles.
Agreed. But stirring the pot, I don't want him to win. And it's not, I love Sasha. I love Naomi. I want the feud of Toxic Attraction against Damage Control to carry or mean something at WrestleMania.
Okay, how about a triple threat?
I guess you're an ass, but yes, I guess that can happen. Yeah.
Guilty.
Well, yeah, because they have a feud going. We're booking 6 months now down the line. They have a great feud, and then essentially at Rumble, that's Sasha and Naomi return and say, one of them win it. How about this? One of them win it and say, we're not going after the heavyweight championship. I'm picking my partner Naomi, and we're cashing in this at, WrestleMania. And essentially Toxic Control, Damage Control, Toxic Attraction. I'm an idiot. And they all just kind of intermingle. But you don't get the win from Sasha and Naomi. I want Toxic Attraction to take the titles from Damage Control. I love them both.
It puts a twist on the Royal Rumble. So I love, if that were to happen, I'd love it.
Yeah. So yes. All right, Ryan. Once again, thank you for coming on the show tonight, or today, or this morning, or last night, whenever you listen to it. Give everybody your socials again so they can go out. Guys, it's called The Final Count. He's got a lot of great interviews. He covers wrestling just as much as we do. We connect all the time. Ryan's a ding-dong, a nitwit like I am. We just have the love of wrestling, and he covers as much as we do. So there's not enough time for you not to follow him. Go ahead.
All right, so you can follow me at The Final Count KY on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And you can also find all of our podcasts, all of our shows on YouTube And then anywhere you find your podcast platforms, we're pretty much on all of them. Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and just wherever you can find your podcast, we're pretty much there. So go and check us out. And we thank you for your support, any ratings you give us, and definitely love to hear your feedback as well.
Yeah, send it to them, rate, review, do all that cool stuff that you do for us over here at Can Crushers. Give them a follow, love them. We'll try not to piggyback on back-to-back interviews, or we'll talk more about who we're doing, but we'll get there.
Right.
We'll get there. Hey,
yeah.
if the wrestlers reach out to both of us and say, hey, let's do some stuff, and we're like, oh, well, okay, let's do some stuff, right?
Right.
All right, Ryan, I'll let you go tonight. Again, I say this every time I talk to you. I love you, brother. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for inviting me into your home, sleeping on your couch, eating pizza and drinking some pops together. And it was real pops, folks. It was real pops. I wasn't drinking and driving down in Kentucky. I don't have to do that. Yeah, you're always a brother, and I love you.
Likewise, brother. Thank you for having me on again. I've definitely enjoyed this, and I'd love to come back.
Always welcome. Knock, knock, knock. The door's open.
Thank you.
Remember, guys, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.